Coach Miller, and I have some Warsaw Christian Eagle basketball players with us today, and we're going to do some demonstrations on some basic basketball fundamentals. We're going to work on shooting, layups, dribbling, and some one-on-one defense. That way, if you're wanting to have a visual to go along with instruction you got in practice, this is a good supplement for you to use. So the first skill we're going to talk about is shooting. And the good thing about shooting is it is something that can be taught. There's no such thing as a natural born shooter who can just shoot the right way and be a good shooter. There are people who have better shooting eyes than others, but if you develop the shooting style that we're going to learn today, anyone can become a good shooter. So what we're going to do is I use an acronym with these players called BEEF. And it's a common acronym used by a lot of different coaches, and BEEF stands for balance, eyes, elbow, follow through. If you implement these into your shot, it will make your success rate go up incrementally every time you get a new piece of that down. So, start out here is let's have Alexis come over here, and she's going to demonstrate balance for us. So on balance, you want your feet shoulder width apart. Okay. If you're standing straight up, go stand straight up. It's pretty easy to get you off balance. So go ahead and get back into balance. If she's like this, I can go ahead and give her all kinds of pushing, and she's not going to get thrown off. Her shoulders are square to the basket, feet shoulder width apart. Okay, that's good balance. Starts with base. You start the shot with your feet and work your way up. All right. So now with balance, we have eyes. Okay, Maddie, go ahead and come over here beside her. Maddie's going to get balance there, and she's going to have her eyes on the rim. Now, a lot of people just aim for the rim in basketball. When I was in the military, we had to do firearms training, and we would aim at targets that were the size of a torso. And you would not aim for the whole target, you would aim for a small spot on that target. So if you miss that spot, you'd still hit the target. Well, it's the same concept with basketball. You can use the little notches that hold the nets up as your target. You can find a little spot on the front of the rim, but you want to aim for directly in front of you. Have that little small spot the size of a nickel. And that's what you're going to aim for. You aim small, you miss small. Alright, so eyes are on there. Okay. Now something I did not mention with the balance, your right foot, if you're right-handed, which everyone here today is right-handed, is your shooting foot. So you actually are going to have that pointed at that little tiny target. So when you get the ball, you're going to step to that target, and your foot is lined up with that target, which is going to line your body up with that target. All right? Now your feet are shoulder width apart, and a good way to find out how far apart to put your feet when you're starting is take the instep of your right foot and take the big toe of your left foot and put it inside the instep and then come out, and that's a good starting point to find your place, how far apart and how far back you want that foot. Alright? So now they have balance, they have their eyes on the target. Their eye and their foot are all pointed at the same, lined up with the same exact target. Now, let's have Katie come on out here. We'll get to you in a minute, gentlemen. Elbow. Katie's lining up. As you see, she's got balance. She's got eyes. Her elbow is right here. Her elbow is lined up with that same target. Elbow is right here. If I were to drop a string from the ceiling, it could go through the ball, through her elbow, through her knee, and through her foot. They're all pretty much in the same line. The elbow, we want the elbow not like this, but like this. We want it to look like an L, not a B. Okay? And we also got to watch the elbow has to also be inside. So it's going to be lined up with the foot, with your leg, not out here. We don't want a flying elbow, and we don't want the elbow too far in. We don't want it low. We want it up here and straight, in line. So what we're doing is creating a perfect body line. So we're going to have an eye, elbow, foot computer that lines everything up with precision. All right? So another thing to talk about real quick that I don't hear a whole lot of coaches talking about, but it's an important thing to understand. I've seen some players that have issues with accuracy sometimes, and we found out that they have a different dominant shooting eye. So what you do to find out what your shooting eye is you make a little telescope with your eye, with your hands, and you want to take it and find a spot and then look at the spot through telescope, and whatever hand you reach up to look through, whatever eye you look through, that's your dominant shooting eye. There are some right-handed players that have a left-handed dominant shooting eye. If that's the case, then you need to bring the ball in front of that shooting eye slightly. Most of the time it's going to be, if you're left, it's going to be left, if you're right, it's going to be left. And if it's going to be the same, then you want to make sure that it's in line with your shooting eye too. Another habit I see that a lot of especially younger players do is they bring the ball over here. Well, what this does right here is now you cannot see the ball and you're shooting at a moving target because you got to bring it here and you're trying to bring it lining up with the rim instead of having it already lined up with your elbow. So, and also when you lift it over here, if the shot begins at the floor and getting leg strength to get the shot, you eliminate all that leg power by taking it out of the line of the leg power. And now it's just arm power. You get power from the legs, you get control with the arms and the hands. So in order to do that, everything has to be working together in agreement. All right? So, now let's have you come out here, Nate, and Josiah. No basketballs though, stand over there and face the camera this way. And we're going to show them an example of follow through. So after you get in position, just aim at the invisible rim in front of you there. So get your feet lined up, balance, eyes, get the elbow up. Now, when you go for the follow through, you're going to go, now you're going to go up and through, locking the elbow, snapping the wrist, and then waving bye-bye. And then you're also going to, it's going to look like you got your hand in the cookie jar and the rim's the cookie jar. Here's an example, hold that follow through. You're going to hold the follow through, and what this does is it creates a backspin so that when the ball hits the rim, if you're trying to swish it, but if it hits the back of the rim, it's going to create a backspin and it's going to deaden it so it just kind of drops in. You're going to watch, hold this ball for me. If you watch, if I put this backspin, I'm going to exaggerate it for the camera to pick it up. It's going to spin, and as soon as it hits the ground, it's going to stop, like deaden, and then come backwards. So if you hit the back of the rim, instead of going clank and going back past half the court, it's going to soften and drop in. So watch the way this backspin puts it on it. See how it deadened and fell backwards. That's what you want with it, and the follow-through is what ensures you do that, so that you make more shots. It's called a shooter's touch. And then while you're doing that, you also want to make sure, let's have you guys all line up and get in position to shoot, but not shoot. Get up in the shooting position. Go ahead and get it up in the air, get the elbow in the L position. You're not going to shoot. Now look, notice this. Go ahead and drop that guide hand. Maddie is holding the ball. And let's look at this from the front view too. As she's holding the ball, she does not have her palm touching any of the basketball. The pads are okay, and the fingers are definitely okay, but nothing in the palm of the hand. Matter of fact, I've mentioned this to players. You could play a game of basketball in the mud with a muddy ball, and your palm could conceivably stay completely clean because the palm should never touch the basketball. All right? So she's got crinkles in the wrist, like a waiter carrying trays, because we don't want it to be like this and start to fall off. Lift it up a little bit. Lift your hand up a little bit like that. The more she lifts it, watch what happens. It starts to fall off. And then the guide hand, which is your left hand, starts to come in and try to help, and we don't want that. Second thing, pretend that when you're doing the follow-through, pretend that there is a telephone booth directly in front of you. If you guys don't know what a telephone booth, it's a little glass box that has a telephone in it. So pretend that there's a little glass wall directly in front of you that you have to shoot over, and it goes this high. So you can't go out like this. You can go straight up because we want our elbow past the eye. David Baker says, elbow past the eye, ball to the sky. We want the ball to drop in from above. And the reason for that is because the angle on it causes you to make more shots. So all this is involved in how you use your follow-through. All right, let's get back in position for the follow-through. Okay, so everybody's there, off their palms. Fingers spread out as wide as you can, but still comfortable. And again, there's a lot of details in this. Rewind this, watch it as many times as you need to get all these details, because each one of those will be the missing piece to why you're missing shots. Every one of these will help you make more shots. All right, so as they're in position, Balance, eyes, elbow, follow through. One more piece to the follow through part is the guide hand. If you're right-handed, it's your left hand. If you're left-handed, it's your right hand. So the interesting thing about the guide hand is it can be your best friend or your worst enemy. When you're playing basketball and you're playing against someone else, if you go to shoot a shot and they get even a fingertip on that shot, it will deflect the shot and cause it to not be accurate. I've seen many new players that do that to themselves unintentionally by using their left hand to deflect the shot by using the thumb to help put a backspin on it. And when you use that left thumb or the left hand at all, when you're going through, and for left-handed players to be the right hand, it creates bad spins on it. You see how it's going everywhere and going crazy? It does that on the rim too. You want it to go straight through, and all the left hand is for is to keep it from falling off. And once you start going up, that's no longer necessary because momentum will carry it up. So when you're going up here, that guide hand is just like a bookshelf holder that's holding books and keeping them from falling over. So all it's doing is keeping the books in place, so to speak, and you go up and through. Okay? So now we have balance, we have eyes, we have elbow, we have follow through. Now, one other thing, and this is if you really want to get into this, there are a couple extra tips here. I always get my fingers in the grooves. Right here, there's some built-in grooves in the basketball, and that actually will help you get backspin and get more comfortable. So when the ball comes at you, I grab it and I readjust my fingers so that it's in there. And also, I look at the ball as if it's cut in half. My index finger's kind of right down that middle cut line, and that helps me line up to my target. So, it all goes straight through. Okay, so now we're going to put all this together. We're going to get balance, eyes, elbow, and then follow through. Now we're not going to shoot, we're going to have you guys shoot now. So let's go ahead and have a single line right here. And we're going to have you guys take shots and get your own rebound. Alright, ready? Go ahead. As we're watching, watch for what they're doing, and when they do something good, you see the rim, and then it deadens and drops in, or better yet, it swishes. A little short, but now, hold it for a second. Important point on watching this. As a coach, I am not concerned at all if the ball goes short or the ball goes long. I'm concerned if it's going to the left or to the right of the target. Because it's still going straight, you're just getting used to the touch. And when it's on those pads your fingers and the fingers, as it's going up, you have these two fingers are called your shooting fork. It controls over 75% of your shot, and you control your touch by how far it rolls off those fingers and when you snap that wrist. Go ahead. You notice they're hitting the front of the rim, but it's not planking out, or they hit the back and it's not planking out, it's dropping in. Go to the next one, please. Swish. Swish. Hits the rim and drops in. And we finally got it on there. You guys have been doing this for a while. Swish. Swish. You watch. They come up there, hold the ball for a second. They get low, and they start out with good balance. You watch them, every one of their eyes are up on that, focused on that target. They get the ball in here and you line your elbow up and they follow through. And if they don't follow through, then you'll see the bad backspins. So watch the whole thing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Balance, eyes, elbow, follow through. Notice if you start a little high, or if you get a little hoppy on it, that backspin goes away. So it's really important that you control the ball and the ball doesn't control you. Nice. Good. Oh, there we have it. When you drop that follow through, it puts a weird backspin on it. And there's the ball. Right there is an exact example of what I'm talking about. That's a shot where if she had a bad backspin, it would have hit back there. It deadened, dropped in instead of going back there or going to the left or to the right. So this is good. One more thing I want to talk about quickly here is, come on over here real quick and stand right here. Make a basket with your arms like you're the basket. Like that. Okay, so the reason I tell you elbow to the sky, or elbow past the eyes, ball goes to the sky, is because we want the ball to come in at an angle like this and not like this. This is an important thing. You have your wrist and your elbow. If your wrist goes past the elbow, you push the ball. You push the ball, you make a lot less baskets. This is a push, this is a shot. Push, shot. So it's real important that you have your elbow go past your eye, because then you don't have to worry about pushing it. If the elbow doesn't travel past the eye, you're pushing your shot. Now why is that important? Look at the ball here. If you have the basketball traveling like this, it comes in at a straight angle, you have to make it exactly. There's no margin of error. If you're a little short, a little bit, just a little bit, it's not going to go in there. If you're a little long, it's going to hit the very back of the rim and come out. And that's why even when you get a right backspin, you're not going to save yourself from a miss if you're shooting this short of an angle. So you want to go like this to increase your angle by having it drop in from above like a rainbow. So if it's dropping in from above, I could hit from the front, from the back, it could be a little off to the left or to the right. I have all these different areas that give me a little margin of error that make shots that might miss if I'm pushing go in because I'm shooting it correctly. So it's real important on the follow through that we have it coming from above. So let's go through one last thing. Now, what I want to do is actually, and this is something that actually is kind of one of the things I tell every beginner, but it doesn't just apply to beginners. Reggie Miller is one of the best shooters I've ever seen. Not just shooting around out in the gym, but actually in the game and clutch shooting, all that. If you ever were to watch him, he played for the Indianapolis Pacers and the UCLA Bruins. He would be in the gym a couple hours before the game even started, and hardly anybody was there, and he'd be right down here. Right down here, about a foot from the rim. A guy who made millions of dollars a year playing basketball started right here. Every day that he picked up a basketball. This right here is where he started because he knew the importance of getting that elbow high and having a good touch. He would start right here and do what I call swish drills. And he'd stand right down here and work on his touch, because if you're right under the rim, you can't push your shot. If you're right under the rim, you have to use your fingertips to control what you're doing. And if it's off, you can adjust quickly. All right? So what I want to do right now, and this is a drill that I would recommend you do every day at home, is we're going to do the swish drill. We're going to have 3 lines around this basket. You're going to have a make with no rim, no backboard. It's a complete swish is worth 1 point. A miss is worth -1 point, but a make where you hit the rim or the backboard but it goes in is worth 0 points. And your goal is to get +10. If you get to +10, you win the game. If you get to -10, you lose the game. So this would be -1 right there. This would be 1. And this would be 0. All right, go ahead and get a foot from there. Have a basketball in your hand. Use your own rebound. Okay? Go ahead and start with, these are called one-handed swish drills. You go ahead and put your guide hand behind your back. That would be 0. Go ahead. 1. 0. 0. 1. Go ahead. Still 1. That's back to -1. There's 1. Still 1. Little rim there, so that's a 0. There's the rim. Go ahead. Little rim there. Little points. More points. Rim. Oh, watch the follow through and the fingertips. Hold the ball for a second. A lot of times if you're getting where you're hitting the rim and it's not going through there, it's your follow through, or the ball is rolling onto your palm, or you are not getting the elbow high. So those are things you can do a quick self check on. Go ahead and keep going. You see it, these players are hitting the rim and it's still dropping in. And they're going for swishes. That means when they miss the swish, they still make the shot by and large. Go ahead. Little rim there. There's a switch. That's the point. Good. 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 Get the rim back. about something that was a little short, but straight, but not so much. There we go, corrected that one. Good, around. Oh, again, we drop the ball through. Now, hold the ball for a second. This is an important thing to understand. Most of these players have been playing for 3 years on their basketball team. Everyone's played at least 2 years for the basketball team. They're on their 3rd year or 2nd year. Even after you've done this for a while, every once in a while you'll not think about it and drop that guide hand or drop your follow through and make mistakes. Basketball is challenging because it's a lifetime pursuit of keeping those fundamentals sound. And if you do this and do this drill, then it'll get your mechanics there quickly, and you'll actually be able to self-diagnose when you shoot and know what you did wrong and fix it quickly. So these are all fundamental skills. I'm going to do one last drill you can work on to improve your shot and your range, and then we're going to move on. You see that basketball? So the same thing as the switch drill. We have the ball right here. We start right here. But now on this one, after you get really good at the switch drill, and this should also be the way you warm up every day, just like Reggie Miller did. He would warm up with the switch drill and work his way out to where he was shooting NBA threes. Even if it's in the playoffs, even if it's against Michael Jordan guarding him, I've seen him hit those threes. It all started out from that switch drill. But after the switch drill, you can come over here and start out in the same spot and shoot it, and this time you can add your guide hand, and if you make it, you go back one step. And again, go back one step. Make it again, go back one step. Now, something interesting about this, if you watch, I went short and straight, so now I want to stay here and work on it here. And I drop my legs to get a little more leg strength. The further back I go, the more I'm dropping my hips to get more leg strength, but nothing else on my form is changing, my balance, eyes, elbow follow through is still the same. Okay. I keep going back, take a step back. Straight and short, so I stay here. A little short again. And again, you should be able to tell and diagnose yourself. And you find a spot you need to work on. So right there I missed 3 in a row. So I would stay here and shoot 10 of these. And then I go and start across the team. So I come over here and start shooting as I'm going short. And I didn't get the benefit of warming up like these guys did. A little bit more. And if you watch, the coach is the same as anybody else. I'm looking through here. If I'm pushing my shot, if I'm not holding my follow through, I get the same results. But if I go through there and go to the right, it rolls on my palm. When you get to that edge of your range is what it's called, this is where you stay and start diagnosing your shot. Because I see young players go out there and try to shoot 3-pointers and half-quarters and all this stuff that's down their range, and they start shooting like this all of a sudden. Get a bad shot from. But now after you're diagnosing it, you start to say, okay, I can get this. And then you start fixing your shot. The next thing you know, you're hitting shot after shot. I may have fudged my form a little bit to make a point on that, but you see what I'm saying there. Now, after you get that down, you can come out further and start working on your there. Going short again, and you get even more lifting your legs. So on and so forth. The point is, use the same fundamentals you use on the switch drill to work your way out in your range, but don't ever go past your range. Perfect your shots at each step, and then work your way out little by little. And that's going to be where we're going to stop on the shooting. Hopefully this will give you